These are ready to use tools that help you look professional and stay organized. We have our free invoice template, which helps you send clean and branded invoices quickly. Then we have the income statement template, which is perfect for tracking profitability over time. And lastly, there's a free balance sheet template that you can download, which gives you a snapshot of your business's financial health. Now, all of these templates are downloadable and editable, meaning that you can download them and then import them into tools like Excel or Google Sheets and then edit them. They're really designed to try to help you save time and keep your records clean. And I do want to preface this with that these templates are super simple. They're very basic templates that allow you to accomplish these things in a very simple way. They're really designed for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and small business owners who just need really simple, simplified versions of what these are. So I'm going to now show you how you can access these and download these, and I'm going to show you what each of them looks like and what the benefits of them are. So here we have neat.com. You can scroll all the way to the bottom of this page to access our resources, where you can access the webinars, the blog, the guide, the glossary, and our free templates, which are right here. So here's where we're going to download them from. So I'm going to click this one here, and we are going to, so this is the free invoicing template webpage. When you come to this page, if you scroll down, you can learn a little bit about the tool. It even includes the steps here for how you can use the invoicing template right on this page. So you don't have to watch this video. You could just follow the steps, but I'm going to share some other tips and tricks that you might not be aware of. And you can even see an example of what the invoicing template looks like. So to get access to this, you're going to enter your email address here in the box, and then you'll click submit. Once you do that, you'll be brought to this page here where you can go ahead and click here to download the invoice template here. So it has been downloaded onto my computer now, and I am going to open this up for you guys in Google Sheets. So here we go. So this is what the invoicing template looks like when you download it initially. So it's a blank slate. We have a place here where you can insert all of your business information, including your business's logo. We have a bill to section here, which is where you can fill in all of your customers' details and all of the details about the invoice itself. And then there are 10 line items here, though you can expand this and add more if you'd like. You can go in and you can fill in your different products and services, how many of those were purchased or used, what their price is, and then Neat will, or this invoicing template will calculate the amounts for you. So let me just show you a quick example. Let's say, for example, I enter product number 1 here, and we have a description. The quantity we'll say is 2. We'll say the price is $100. And we'll say the sales tax is 8%. Now, this field, this amount field, has a formula in it that will automatically calculate your quantity, your price, and your tax for you. And then if you scroll toward the bottom, we have a total amount here that I was calculating the total amount of all of your line items here. So I can go in and maybe I add service number 1. And we'll say we did one of those. We'll say that was worth $50 at 8%. So now we have, one product at $216, one service at $50.04, and a grand total of $250.20. You could go in and you can delete line items by, deleting a row that you don't need. And likewise, if you needed to add more rows, you could do the same thing by inserting a row here and then entering your item there. So like I said, this is a pretty basic version. I recommend, having, this sheet here or this invoicing main sheet that you can go in and you can edit. Every time you need to create a new invoice for a customer, you can come in and fill out all this information. And then you can go ahead and you can print this or send this out to whoever you need to send it out to. Now, this is a pretty bare bones invoice template because I just downloaded it, but let me show you an example of an invoicing template that is a little bit more robust and what you can kind of do with this, because you're not just limited to this. Here's some other things that you can do with it. So here we have the invoicing template for Wonderland Catering. So, let's say they downloaded our invoicing template, and this is what they did to optimize their use of our free invoicing template. So they have a draft here, an invoice draft here, where they have filled in all of their information. They have their logo, their company information. They've filled in one of their customers here who they are invoicing. They have all the details about when this invoice is due and what the date actually is. And then they've gone in and they've added a bunch of products and services here with the price and the quantity. One thing that I did want to quickly mention is when you're editing your invoice, be careful not to edit any cells that have a formula in them. So for example, when I click on cell 21H under amount, when we look up at the function bar here, we can see there's a whole formula here. And that's because the invoice template has these formulas built into it to calculate this information for you. So you just want to be careful you're not editing any fields that have a formula in them. Basically, any of the amount fields have a formula. So just be careful with editing those. Otherwise, your amounts will not calculate all up correctly. So again, they have this invoice draft that's basically ready to go for Nelson and Murdoch. Some other things that Wonderland Catering has done is they've also created a products sheet. So this is a list of their products that they offer with their price and the product description. They've also created a services sheet with their list of services that they offer, their pricing, and those descriptions. And they also have a customer sheet as well with their customers' information like name, address, phone number, and email address, all things that they need to be able to generate invoices for their customers. And what they do is, they have their invoicing draft and they can just copy things directly from these other tabs. So for example, if they wanted to add another product, maybe they wanted to add product number 6 to this draft as well. They can just go to the products tab and start copying and pasting products from the product sheet over to their new invoice. That way they don't have to type everything out. It just streamlines this process just a bit more. So we can check the price of this, which is $25. And we can add a sales tax amount here. And I'm going to copy the formula as well down into the amount sheet here. And now we can see that we've added this new product. The total amount has been updated and the amounts here have been updated as well. And that's a lot easier than going in and typing in all of the different items and descriptions. It allows you to stay a little bit more consistent from invoice to invoice generation. So keep that in mind. Let me see here. And then, so like I said, I recommend creating tabs for your products and services and customers to keep them all organized and consistent. But then also, once you're done, say for example, this invoice draft is ready to go. I'm ready to send this over to Matthew Murdoch. I can go ahead and I can print this. So I can either, I can print this here and I can send this to my printer and actually print a physical copy of it. Or I could save this to a PDF file instead and save it to my computer and then email it out to somebody if I need to. Or I can even, if I have the Neat virtual printer installed for Print to Neat, I could just send this to the Print to Neat feature and it'll send the invoice into my Neat account as well. And then I can send that invoice out from Neat to my customer or whoever else I need to. So you can also print this page as well very easily. So it's a nice, free and easy way to create invoices for your customers without having to, purchase a subscription or any sort of software for it. Now, that being said, Neat does have a invoicing feature that does all of this stuff for you in a much more straightforward way. This is a very manual process, and that's fine because it's free. but if you are looking for, a tool that will allow you to generate invoices and do all of this stuff in a more constructive way, then there is also invoicing in Neat. So let me show you what that looks like. So to preface this, in order to access our invoicing and our accounts and transaction features, you need to have a Neat Plus automated insights plan. So the plan that you're currently on may not include these features, so you may not see them. You need to have that plan to access these. With an automated insights plan, you can access the invoices section and actually manage invoices, create invoices, create your list of customers and products and services, and streamline that invoice creation and management process. So you can, in the invoices section, you have settings to add all of your business information, like your logo and your address and all of those details that will be generated and added to every one of the invoices that you create and Neat. You can also add your list of customers and products and services here. So Neat gives you the ability to organize and track all of your different customers and products and services. You can activate or inactivate any of your products and services if you're no longer offering those services, or if that customer is no longer a customer of yours. When you go to create invoices, that's super helpful. So I'm in the process of creating an invoice right now. I can select from all of my customers within my customer list here without having to manually enter their information like I would within the free invoice template. So we'll create an invoice for Danny Torrance. Neat will automatically update the invoice number for each of your new invoices, keeping track of your invoicing numbers from invoice to invoice, making sure you don't accidentally send the same invoice number to two different customers. You can choose your invoice date, the date in which this invoice is due. You can choose from a specific range or a specific date. I'm going to choose 30 days. Because I'm able to add my products and services to Neat, when I go to add products and services, I can just select from the different products and services that I have added to my inventory. So we'll choose product number 1. I can change the quantity of it. I can tell Neat whether or not we want to include sales tax. I'm going to add another one for service 1. We'll just say that was 1, and we'll include tax for that as well. I can even add discounts and fees in Neat that will be tracked. So if maybe this is a brand new customer and I'm giving them $100 off because they're a brand new customer, I can add this discount and Neat will subtract this $100 from the total. If I changed this to fee, then it would add $100 to the total. We can see my total down here, and I'm able to select the sales tax associated with this invoice. Neat also gives you the ability to add other attachments. So if you have some other form of contract or something like that you need to include in the invoice, you can attach it here. And you can also add notes and create or add your own terms and conditions to the invoice as well. Once you are done generating your invoice, you can go ahead and you can click save. And now this invoice is saved as a draft within Neat. And I can preview my invoice by clicking preview. And this is what your invoice would look like if you generated it in Neat. So we can see all the taxable items, the total amounts, the links, anything that we've included in here, plus all of my information, like my logo, my name, and all my company information here at the bottom. Once you have created a bunch of invoices in Neat, you can also record payments for those invoices. Now, you can't accept payments for these invoices through Neat. So, I want to make that clear distinction. However, if let's say, for example, Alice Little here has an invoice that's due on August 22nd. Maybe she paid me today, her total amount. I can click on the actions here and I can actually record a payment for her. We can say maybe she paid through credit card, and she paid in full, and then I can save this. And now I'm letting Neat know that this invoice has been paid for already. And we can see now that Alice's invoice has been paid and she no longer has an outstanding balance. And you can see all of the different statuses of your invoices here. You can see if any of them are past due, which ones you've marked as paid, which ones are in a draft status, and which ones have been sent but have not been paid for just yet. And that's one of the things that I really like about the invoicing feature in Neat is that you get the invoicing history here. So I can see all of the invoices I've ever created. I can see, whether or not they've been paid for. I can see that payment history. I can see whether or not they were partial payments or the types of payments that they were. I can also void invoices. Maybe this new invoice for Danny is not something that I'm going to accept. So I can void it out entirely so that, it is accurately reflected upon within my invoicing history. And one of the last things that I think is cool about the invoicing feature is that you can also duplicate invoices. So with the free template, you would have to, basically duplicate your tab and then enter all of that information back in. Neat gives you kind of a similar tool, which is a bit more automated, where I can come in and I can choose to duplicate any one invoice. I can make quick adjustments, like maybe he's no longer a new customer, so I'll remove that from this new invoice. But I can, add new notes, or I can add another product or service. I can make quick adjustments here and then save the new invoice that quickly. So it kind of streamlines the invoice creation process altogether. So there you have it. Neat offers a couple different invoicing tools. You have the free invoicing template that is there for you to use. You can do all of this stuff using the free invoicing template without paying any additional fees or subscription services. Or, through Neat, you can also purchase our Neat Plus Automated Insights plan and utilize these invoicing features here to create and manage your invoices, your customers, and your products. Really depends on what works for you best.